You're listening to the Beans and Dice podcast, a podcast about how we game.
Do you like the mimery?
How we game? Oh, yeah.
All the miming that I was doing there?
Mimery, is that what you call that?
Is that a
memory or mimery?
No, is that a technical term? Mimery?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, folks, welcome to the Beans and Dice podcast, Thursday night live call-in show.
Live show.
The live call-in show Thursday nights. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
I'm Wayne.
And that's it for us tonight. It's just the three of us. Thank you, Wayne, for joining in. Rob and I.
I'm here at Studio B.
Oh, welcome to Studio B. Because we still haven't reset up the studio ever since your turn con. It's kind of been a catch up on work, kind of a clustered last couple of weeks.
Getting ready for the holiday, getting everything done.
Yeah, kids events and all that stuff. So it's gotten there. Folks, if you're in the chat, just let us know how audio's going. Let us know how we're sounding. Hopefully things are looking well.
Yeah, we kind of threw it together tonight, so just make sure we're still coming in loud and clear. If there's anything with the mic levels, let us know once we get that first call. If somebody could just chime in, let us know. Make sure the phone's audible to everybody. But we're just working off of one camera here at Studio B tonight, so we got to get the full setup still going. We just kind of Carlos threw this together about 30 minutes before I got here.
I was busy out at a retirees party.
Oh, okay.
A coworker retiree party.
Having some beverages, yeah.
Yep, so I figure I'll continue it.
Drinking the wine, huh?
A little wine.
Yeah, vintage.
Up there.
Here we go. Vintage winking owl, a la Aldi.
Oh, okay.
Aldi's, $3 wine they got over there.
Nice. $3 wine.
What is this one? Vintage 2021. What is this?
Oh,
yeah, baby, it's fresh. It's practically grape juice.
I'm hitting the Wesley Farms hard water here, so yeah.
I got water.
Oh, there you go. Hey.
Yeah, once the water's empty, I'm gonna put a Guinness in it. So.
Oh, okay. So you got something to back it up. Yeah.
Smart man. Alternate, folks. Yeah. We do believe in responsible libations here at the Beans and Dice podcast.
You got Edmund already in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, all the way from Sweden. Sweden.
Yep.
All the way from Sweden. Hello in the night. I really appreciated your observations from Stonemeyer Design Day.
Oh yeah, thanks. That was that's always a fun show to do. I enjoyed that trip. I'm looking forward to going again next year. Hopefully, we can get Carlos back out next year.
That's the plan.
Yep. And then
the problem is I've got Crucible already reaching out to me for October of next year. They're already trying to plan October of next year. So it's like Jamie hasn't. So I'm being asked to make some commitments already, and
Crucible,
Jamie hasn't even. It's one of the largest minis conventions on the East Coast. Games Workshop, Wargaming, all the stuff that I love. But he's really been focusing on bringing in a board game element, and he's got a board game group out there with a library. So they're actually going to bring their own library out there in 2023. Nice. And then he's asking about Rob and I joining out there if possible with the streaming, the tables, running events, Beans and Dice stuff.
Is that local in like the
Jacksonville-ish?
Not too far. Yeah, it's 4 hours.
No, not too far.
Hours. Yeah, I like Jacksonville. Well, I like St. Augustine, south of Jacksonville.
Rich in the chat. Good evening, Rich. Good to see you.
Hello there, Rich.
Will Rob be giving a Blood Bowl lecture?
I will. Every year I give an in-depth Blood Bowl. Do not play. Do not play. Stay away. Stay far away.
It's not that bad.
How to avoid Blood Bowl.
It is not that bad.
Yeah. Carlos and Rob got to hear crosstalk before the show tonight. Rich and I were actually and Rob is in it too. He hasn't. I
haven't started yet, but
we're in the beta testers for the new version of Robo Rally.
Yeah,
and so Rich and I got like a third of a game in before the show tonight. So we are officially not able to talk more than that based on the NDA we had to sign. But
oh wow, actual NDAs and whatnot.
Yeah, top secret stuff.
We had to sign an NDA and everything. So, but the three, so Carlo, Rob, myself, and Rich or Getty from Discord. Those of you that don't know the names. Are officially in its testing. I think they're still taking people. So if you want to, you can get in there and get on their Discord and request to join. And
we've got very different levels of playing experience with the game. I think you and Rich said that y'all have like 1,000 games or something.
Oh,
something ridiculous.
I mean, I've played it at least 30 or 40 times easy.
Okay.
And I had the 2006 or 8 edition. And then a buddy of mine, Tim, he had all the old boards with the lead minis and everything from like the 80s and stuff. So,
I've never played.
It's a fun game. It's a chaos. It's chaos incarnate. Carlos, you'd like it. If you haven't played it, it's a programming game. So your robot's kind of like in a factory, and there's like conveyor belts and lasers and all this other stuff. and you get 9 cards and you have to play 5, and it's like rotate, move 1, back up, whatever, and you're basically trying to get to different flags. It's a race through the factory. But the board elements can move you, the conveyor belts move you and rotate you, and lasers fire. And anytime you end up facing another robot, you shoot that robot. So you get like penalty cards. Yeah, that's the version I have. I think the Avalon Hill version.
That's the one you see quite a bit.
So as the game goes on and you get shot more and lasered and damaged, you get action cards that hurt you, that you can't use certain things. And it's a good game. So I'm looking forward to playing it. I'm looking forward. I
got
can't.
a call coming in.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's check this out here.
Yeah, see who it is.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
This is Ron from Atlanta.
Hey, Ron Frazier, how are you?
Can always count on my buddy Ron. Good evening, Ron.
I'm good. Good evening, gentlemen. So it is firmly established that I'm now the official first caller of the Beans and Dice.
You've taken that title.
Show. Yeah, Mitchell's busy directing. Well, he's going to be. He's been doing theater stuff, but
yeah.
Building sets.
He made a big announcement.
Rehearsals.
I think I completely butchered the way he spelled that name.
Oh,
Ron from Hotlanta. What have you been up to gaming wise?
So interestingly enough, last weekend I went up to Charlotte for Jeff Con, which is mainly a RPG and like crafting terrain con. It used to be called Mace, but then the organizer of the convention, his name is Jeff Smith, passed away earlier this year due to cancer. And so they renamed the convention in his honor and as Jeff Con just for this year, and then they're going to resume the same schedule under a new name. So it was cool. I had a fantastic time.
Yeah, I saw some of the stuff you posted, some pictures and all, and it looked like you were having a good time.
Yeah, I had a blast. But I played mainly role-playing games there. There was board gaming going on, for sure. Like they had their big room for scheduled board games. And I saw people playing heavy stuff, man. There was Ark Nova. Ark Nova was hitting the table pretty hard this weekend.
Carlos's favorite.
Where doesn't it though? Like there's this love for Ark Nova that I just cannot comprehend.
Yeah, there was I didn't see it, but I know there was a TI4 game that was scheduled. So board gamers definitely go to this convention,
cool.
but I mean, there was more of a role-playing game focus. And they had an open gaming room, but it was really interesting. Like, the scheduled game room, that's where the heavier gamers typically play. But the open game room, there was super light games in that room and everything like that. So,
well, right before you called in, we were talking about Crucible. So it's a heavy minis-based game convention in Jacksonville-ish. I think it might have moved to Orlando. It might have moved to Orlando. But last I recall, it was up in that northeastern part of Florida. Anyway.
Armpit. Armpit, Florida.
That's what I noticed, Ron, when I go to these wargaming cons. They have board gaming stuff, but because they're not really board gamers, it feels like it's all very light types of board games. So it's a weird dichotomy. You got these people who will spend lifetimes learning rule sets for these war games and living that complex rule set life. But when it comes to their board game flavor, it's got to be like light and fast.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. So there was miniature gaming going on here too. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, except replace war games with role-playing games, and that's what this convention was about. That same dynamic. It's really interesting.
Yeah, although if Ark Nova was on the table, I mean, there's some heavier stuff. Yeah.
That was a different room. Which room was that in, Ron?
That was in the That was in the scheduled game rooms.
Gotcha,
they have they were using a system that was similar to tabletop dot events, but not, and like people could just schedule their games as they wanted to play, and so the people that schedule games tended to schedule the medium weight to heavier games. Some light games too, but
you know who those people are? Those are the people that love that game. Right, that's like
exactly.
Ron scheduling an event to teach somebody Outer Rim or War of the Ring.
Yeah,
it's like I want to teach and show off this game.
Exactly, and I actually considered bringing some of those games with me, but in the end, I decided not to. I did play Dice Throne a couple of times.
Okay,
so,
which versions or which sets?
I played Marvel Dice. I played Marvel Dice Throne, and then I played regular Dice Throne. So that was my first time actually playing, the season 1, season 2 stuff.
And I'm actually thinking about Marvel Dice Throne for my son, my non-gamer son, right? Because I keep seeing it on Amazon. By the way, like I don't know, they keep throwing these ads on Amazon to. Don't hit leave, hit cancel. There you go. Rob's about to boot us out of the room.
I'm over there. Okay, gotcha.
Because they keep comparing it to like a Yahtzee light game. And my oldest is not a gamer, but he's a Marvel fan. So I've added both sets. I think there's 3 sets of Marvel now. There's like a quad and then maybe 2 sets of 2. Ron, you tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Correct.
That's right.
Correct.
I've added all of them to my wish list to try to convince mom, wifey, that these would be great purchases for the 19-year-old and the 15-year-old and the 11-year-old. Like all 3, right? Everybody gets one. The 11-year-old comes through the soundproof curtains. Thumbs up. He's like, he likes the idea. He likes the idea. Ron, what are your thoughts on it as an intro game?
Oh, hold on a second, though. You're putting games on your wish list
to give away to other people in my house.
To give okay. Yeah, all right. Your wife's going to see you do that in a heartbeat, man. Come on. All right, sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
Yeah. So it depends on the character. So, like, in Marvel Dice Throne, for example, I would definitely not give the 11-year-old Doctor Strange or Scarlet Witch.
Okay. Enough said. What about Black Panther and is it Captain Marvel? Is that the one the combo?
Captain Marvel, yeah.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so
they said Cap Marvel. Yeah, what's Cap Marvel?
No, Captain.
Captain.
You understand that, like, this game has a layer of complexity above King of Tokyo. So, I mean, you know your kids and what they can handle. So, like, if they're struggling with King of Tokyo, Marvel Dice Throne isn't gonna be easier for them. Although if they love Marvel,
that's the thing.
Then it might be more invested in learning.
The King of Tokyo, they could take it or leave it. They don't care about Kong. They don't care about Gigazor or what is it, Bunny, Cyber Bunny.
Oh
right.
Yeah.
They don't care about those guys. But Marvel is a hot thing in my house with my kids. Not me. I don't know where they got it from. Marvel's never been my thing.
Yeah.
Outside of X-Men, I've not been a comic book person.
Okay. I got a little aside since I'm talking about.
That's all we do here on the Beans and Ice podcast is asides that leads to another aside that leads to another side.
These battle Yahtzee games. So when I got King of Tokyo, one of the reasons why I was excited about it was that I was aware of a set of HeroClix for Pacific Rim. And they have 5 Jaegers and 5 Kaiju, and I'm like, this is perfect. Now, so I got my HeroClix mini sitting in the box somewhere, and like, if I got any motivation, I'm reskinning reskinning power cards and all that kind of stuff would be something that I'd be willing to do. But at the very least, I have played King of Tokyo with those HeroClix, and for me, that was just very enjoyable experience.
I don't think I've ever heard it called that before, Rob. Have you heard it called Battle Yahtzee?
I think I have. Yeah.
I've never heard that term before. I like it. Battle Yahtzee games.
Yeah.
Then that'd be an easy way for me to introduce it to family.
Yeah.
It's a Battle Yahtzee game.
Kind of one little step up. Yeah.
You're making sets to attack each other.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. Have some a currency to pay for some cards that do special things. Other than that, it's Battle Yahtzee. And I was hanging out with some Magic players there at the con, and they were talking about how, the difficulty of them playing Dice Throne because,
I'm sorry, what?
Magic and
Difficulty?
They said difficulty?
Because they expect a certain level of complexity when they look at a game, when they lay out cards on a table or what have you, and it's like the game is simpler than they expect. So I don't know. I'm not a Magic player, so I can't speak to that experience.
Did you go home and shower off from all the filth about being around those Magic players?
Don't talk about no like that.
Harsh.
Yeah, but
that was a joke.
I just found that. Yeah, I know it was a joke.
Okay.
I found that fascinating and a fascinating discussion to have.
But that's what I'm saying. It kind of goes back to that thing we talked about a little earlier. With you go to a convention with a group of people who focus on a very complex rule set, like that's their life, their love, either RPG or wargaming. But then you show them King of Tokyo, and they're like, "But wait, this is too complex. Like, what are you smoking? You just read a 200-page rule book to play the game you just played,
using rulers and lasers and
right." And you're complaining about King of Tokyo?
Rolling some dice.
The dichotomy is strong there.
It is.
I think it's what right? Though it's the game system
Yeah.
If you play D&D your whole life, it's super easy, and then you throw me something that it's not really the same. It could try confuse people. I don't know. I don't think Tokyo's.
Yeah, I don't know how we do what we do, Ron. I don't know how we do what we do. We jump from one game to a different game to a different game. My wife was joking with my coworkers at the function we were just at, joking about how. I go to, and they were even joking. Every time I see Carlos, he's got a rule book. He's always reading his rule books. Like, that's what I do for fun. I like to read rules for games. We jump from game to game to game, no problem. Right? And we can remember the rules to a rule set of a game we haven't played in 5 years. With just a quick flash through the rule book, bam, we're ready to teach the game again. I wonder if it just takes a different skill set. What do you think, Ron?
It takes a different skill set. Because the thing is that, I see that in the role-playing circles, too. There's people that just play D&D, and then there's people like me that I play D&D. I also play Blaze in the Dark. I play Fate. I play Monster of the Week. Just Iron Sworn all over the place, and it's just a mindset. There's people that are in the hobby they're into the narrow subset of the hobby. And that's totally fine, right? And I understand there's people out there playing Wingspan. It's the only hobby board game they play. That's cool. Or Catan. I've heard that with Catan first, obviously, because it's the oldest one out there. But then there's guys like us who play hundreds of games, and we can bounce from game to game. And so it's just all on what you want to get out of the hobby experience. I don't get it. I couldn't just play one board game.
I've tried many times. I've tried.
Doesn't last long.
I've spent a lot of money on a lot of games to try to say this will be my game forever.
We did X-Wing for a little while.
We did. That actually lasted. That's probably the longest I ever played one game.
3 years. Yeah.
Yep. And then in between 1.0 and 2.0, I got back into board gaming strong.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just can't. My ADD brain wants to do something different every time. I want to play a different game. Even games I love. Wifey was asking to play Cascadia this week. And I'm like, that game's okay. There's lots of other games. What else can I teach you? Like, we've been running through a bunch of games lately. And she's like, no, I want to get Cascadia back to the table. So, okay, we'll get it back to the table. We got it back to the table. And I'm like, why don't we play this more? This game is awesome. Yeah. Right, because like I quickly forget how good some games are because I want to just play something different. And I get reminded that it's not because the game I was playing sucked. It's just my ADD brain can't stick to one thing more than a few times.
So a 10 by 10 challenge is right out for you.
Oh, it's gone, bro. I will never meet
Not
that.
gonna happen. No.
Do 100 by 1. 100 by 1.
100 by 1.
That's hilarious. I'm actually about to complete a 10 by 10 challenge, but like it's to stretch my it's to make sure that I don't get into that pattern. Like anyway.
And apparently it's a turnoff for my family. My OC or ADD-ness of jumping from one game to the next really bothers them. They want to play a game, learn it, have an opportunity to strategize.
That's why you can't ever complete a campaign of anything.
That's why I stopped committing to campaign games as a whole. Like I really want to play some Hero Quest. Like right now, I want to play some Hero Quest with the family. But my worry is they're going to ask me to do all 15 quests.
Yeah, that's the way that works.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I only want to do like one or two.
No.
So I think I end up being in the middle there because I like playing a campaign game.
I like some campaign.
I like campaign games and legacy games, whatever. But then in between that, I want to bounce around and play other games too. So.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm doing like I'm getting ready to jump back into Arkham with Dan, and we've been doing that for quite a while. And I completed. It took about 2 years, but I completed Gloomhaven. But obviously, you can play other games in between. I was doing Gloomhaven about once a week, and then I'd come over here and play games with Carlos before the show or after the show, and that kind of scratch my itch for trying out different things. But I like the consistency of knowing every week I'm going to get together with a couple guys and play that Gloomhaven, and I'm waiting for Frosthaven any day. Hopefully, Frosthaven will be in.
That's a big box, man.
I'm looking forward.
And can I play at least maybe the first adventure?
You can until you screw it up and piss Nick off, and then you won't be allowed to play with us anymore. So,
well, I tell you what, you play the first adventure with your crew, and then you can always replay it with Carlos and me, and then we're done. Too much. I need to. I'm still working through Jaws of the Lion.
Yeah. And Jim says, we do jump from game to game too much. I always wonder why games aren't played back to back more often.
I'm with ODAC.
Yeah.
So it's weird. And I got to meet up with Ron at Dice Tower. Rob, you were there. And I'm all like, let's play that again. And everybody's they want to play a different game. And I guess because of the con environment, you want to jump from game to game.
Anno 1800.
I am all about playing the same game multiple times that evening. Now, the next day, I want to do something different. But like that night, I want to rock the crap out of that game. What do you think, Ron?
For me, not at the con. No. I go to con to play a lot of different games, and that's both in my role playing games and board games. So it's a prime opportunity for me because if I end up with a rando that's not good, I certainly don't want to be stuck with them on the campaign game. Although I guess we just kick them out of the game or whatever. But
right.
I don't know. Just my opinion. But great discussion. I got some things I need to take care of tonight. So I think I'm gonna hang up and listen to the rest of the call, and hopefully people will also call in.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get other phone calls.
You set a good example, my friend. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you kicking off the calls tonight.
Have a good night.
No problem. All right, take care.
Thanks, Ron.
That's our man, Ron Fraser from Hotlanta.
Let you fix those. There we go.
Yeah,
Ron brought up a lot of good topics there, but go ahead, Wayne.
No, I was going to say, in a typical game night, definitely at a con, I want to play a million different games. But I think even in a game night, if we're going to play 3 or 4 games a night, I'd rather play 3 or 4 different games. But I wouldn't be adverse to saying playing 3 or 4 games and then playing the same 3 or 4 games the next week, or something like that. But I don't know about playing the same game twice back to back. It's not typical for me either. If
it's quick and light, like me and the family did My City, which is little. I mean, that's little 20 minute playthroughs.
But that's also scenario driven, right? Like sequential.
It is. It's a legacy, I guess, because you're changing your board, you're stickering stuff, you're changing. So it is. It's a legacy campaign that you play through. It's a prescribed. I forget how many. It's been a while since we played. Now 15 plays or 30 plays or whatever it was, but. They're little 20-minute chunks, and so we'd sit down, one night and play 3 scenarios, which I don't find that bad because we could do that in an hour. We could knock out 3 of those, and then if we wanted to play something else, we'd pull something else out and play something else as well. So it depends on how heavy and how quick it is.
Yeah, your hour games, hour and a half games, probably one play is good for a night, but smaller games, yeah. Interesting. My city's on BGA. It just BGA.
That's what made me think of it. Yeah.
How do you that's interesting.
Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a great game. I highly recommend it. I'm hoping they do a good implementation on Board Game Arena because I would love to jump back in and play that again. Again, I think if I remember, I think it's 30 plays. I think it's 10 different little scenarios, and you play each one 3 times, and then it changes a little bit of the rule each time you play, and then it'll introduce another big rule every fourth scenario. It'll change, kind of majorly change one of the big rules. And that was a fun little game. And again, being that it was in short little pieces, I mean, if you play the whole thing, you got to be, willing to put some hours into it. But those little 20-minute chunks, it was just so satisfying being able to jump through those. So,
nice.
Hey, all right, let's get into some news here. I'm going to pull up some news and let y'all opine and get the folks at home to give their opinion as well. Phone lines open 813-618-7099.
Call in.
Big news. The failure to launch.
We were talking about this before the show
for
started.
Hasbro.
Yeah, wow, what a disappointing.
With Heroscape. Who would have predicted that failure?
Yeah.
A bunch of us said that was going to fail from the beginning.
Well, that's after you saw the price.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess when you said
before we saw the price, like to me, it was like, oh, it's back.
Everybody was on it as soon in the initial announcement.
No, the moment
once
it launched,
the details started coming out. Yeah.
As soon as like the Dice Tower announced it, we're like, oh, great, yeah, great. But then they shot themselves in the foot from the beginning.
One buy-in point, no starter set.
Some executive at Hasbro saw Simon. They saw the Wingspan Nesting Box and the not Root. What's the other big game that just came out with a huge box?
Everdell,
right?
Giant box.
So they saw all of these, boutique games, the Castles of Burgundy Kickstarter, right? And they go, oh,
I won $250 too.
I went to it. Yeah, here we go. And so someone who just doesn't understand the gaming community at all said, well, look at what all these other companies are doing with these $200 and $300 games. Throw it up there for $250. It'll sell.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe they announced ahead of time at all that their goal was 2 million. If it didn't hit 2 million, it just wasn't going to happen. And so they got it was over 1 million. They didn't publish the exact numbers because they didn't. They just said that they sold X number of people bought into it or whatever. And so there was one price point, 250. So you just took 250 and did the math. It came out to a little over $1 million. But then they announced, nope, we didn't hit 2 million. We're going to shelve it indefinitely. So we're going to put it aside, and it may come back, it may not. So
I don't know. Hasbro kind of holding people hostage
exactly
to $2 million in funding seems a bit much.
And not to pre-announce. I mean, they were talking about it on the Dice Tower that once the campaign started, it kind of disappeared. I didn't see it online. I didn't see advertisements for it.
There was no marketing.
I didn't see people talking about it.
It's the same way with Heroscape.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same way with Heroscape. You had to go seek it out. You were not getting information.
Yeah.
Because they put it in their Pulse network that they call it.
Yep. Pulse. Yep.
And here's what's crazy. Kids Tabletop Board Gaming Company, right? They just launched a Kickstarter for a new game, Maple Valley, right?
Yep.
I have seen 30 Facebook ads. I've seen YouTube ads. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing ads for this. I didn't see one ad for the Heroscape thing.
Yeah.
Not one.
It's because they don't. That Pulse service, which I've had subscribed to their emails, it's all about republishing toys, right? Transformers,
right.
G.I. Joes, all kinds of toys that Hasbro makes. And it happens. Like people, that community.
Those collectors and all that kind of stuff, yeah. Mm-hmm.
They seek it out. They don't get pointed at. And I think in the board gaming space, right, Hasbro has the hold of all of their toys. No one else will reproduce or republish a Transformer. only Hasbro will. So if you're a transformer of file, I don't know what to call that.
The official term.
Right. You will be watching everything Hasbro does. They don't have to reach to you. You come to them. So maybe they're thinking that same mindset when it comes to board game
carryover.
But what they don't understand is there's 200 something other publishers out there who are pushing games in my face every day. Like Doomlings, all up in my face. I can't get it out of my face.
And all the YouTube channels and all the Facebook groups. You got to hit those groups up, man.
But Hasbro thought, no. What we have, the people want, they will come to us.
Yeah, they're going to come get it. Yep.
If we build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Well, $1 million came.
Well, exactly.
And that's the other point is
nothing to sneeze at.
What kind of company would say $1 million?
Nah,
we're
leave
good.
that on the table. Yeah, leave that over there.
A company that annual sales are like,
That brings us to our next
that makes
story.
Magic and and whatever. Yeah.
Hasbro squeezing Magic the Gathering players for too much money, says Big Bank.
Yeah.
The Bank of America downscored Hasbro as a not great investment.
Yep.
Because they're worried that they are just milking their cash cow.
Yep.
Well, I didn't read this article, but are they saying, like, I know that from friends that play Magic, they'll say the last 3 or 4 Magic sets have been awesome.
They're I guess they've upped the number of, I don't know what they call them, cycles or whatever. I know they were talking about this on the Dice Tower as well. I heard Tom say they looked at it last year and they did 25 different sets last year. He said when Magic was doing its best, they were doing about a set every month, maybe every 2 months. They did 25 different cycles or whatever they call them last year throughout the year. So,
but is that including those like special release packs though, and special release sets that aren't?
I think it's everything. Yeah.
Because they did like the what's its name? Happy Little Accidents. I'm gonna make some trees.
Oh,
they did a Bob Ross set.
Bob Ross.
Yeah, they did a D&D
Lord
set.
of the Rings, a D&D, Warhammer. Right?
Yes.
Other stuff. Yeah, but I mean that's not the core sets. I mean the core gameplay sets they're still doing like every couple months, every month or two, I think. But
and then this is why the Black Lotus is on here now, because they're publishing a special set, Robert, not a set you can play in competition.
Yep.
But a special set that you can buy to get these cards that have been out of print. These Black Lotuses, these really rare, very tough cards to beat out of print, but you can't play them in the game. So they're not going to help you in the game.
It's $1,000, isn't it?
It's $1,000.
$1,000.
But Rob, no, it's not just $1,000 bucks, Rob.
I know. Keep going. Yeah.
It's $1,000 to buy some booster packs with random cards
you don't know what
in
you're
them.
Get. Yeah.
Well, but the random cards are all the high super rare. Right.
But there's still a chance you get a bunch of junk for $1,000.
Well,
and they're not tournament legal. You can't play them in a tournament.
Yeah.
They jumped the shark at that point, I think.
Yeah.
You know what though? They'll sell.
Oh, they will.
Sell.
But yeah, and I know they've talked about, again, going back to Dice Tower, Tom talked about how disappointing this is, that there's going to be college students, there's going to be high school kids who are working their job at McDonald's and saving up, and then they're going to have, it's a small, tiny percentage, but there's going to be a few kids out there who have to decide, am I going to use this money to buy a car? Am I going to use this $1,000 to start kicking off my college tuition? Or am I going to go buy a set of Magic? And we know those kids, there are going to be some kids who are going to make the wrong decision, and they're going to go buy this $1,000 pack of Magic cards, and where are they going to be? I mean, it's really, it's bad.
Well, I mean, if you're an 18-year-old kid and you spend $1,000 on a pack of cards, then
you're not in a bad spot to begin with.
or you are, again, there's people who just make bad decisions.
Yeah,
so.
I made a lot of those growing up. Yeah. I got a bunch of hero clicks and mech warrior clicks in the garage to tell you about my bad decisions in college.
I've got almost every set of hero clicks from the first 10 sets. And
were you with me over at the EB Electronic Boutique?
Oh, yeah.
Waiting for the doors to open to get my hero clicks on.
Oh, it was even worse. We used to get them at Merlin's books for a while.
Yeah, those guys were expensive.
They were. And then what we did, there was a baseball card store on Hillsborough Avenue, and I went in there one day and I said, "Hey, I know you're a baseball card guy, but so you can get these things called hero clicks. You can buy them, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Here's the deal. You buy 10 cases and I'll buy 8 from you of the whole cases." And then I got all the hero clicks people, and then everyone would just buy a case from this guy, and he'd give us a discount. So every time a new set came out, we each get a case. We'd all open them up together, trade them around, so everyone got a full set. Done.
That's what we did with the Mech Warrior clicks, because we all wanted Atlas, but you had to get a case because only one Atlas showed up in each case, so everybody had to buy a case, and then we spread around the love to make sure everybody got the rest of the stuff.
Yep.
They're talking about here how the issue with Hasbro has been that they've been trying to milk the money primarily by extracting more revenue from each player rather than growing the player base, rather than growing the community. They've just been getting more and more from the same players.
And I guess there's been complaints that the card quality is going down. Some of the printing doesn't look as good as it has. There's been a lot of talk.
Scroll up there. There's a chart that shows the sets. Yeah, so they released 39 Magic sets up from 15. So yeah, look at 2021 last 3 years.
2021. Yeah,
look at Wizards released 39 Magic sets in 2022, up from 15 in 2019.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so they basically during the pandemic they just cracked out on production.
It's crazy how much, and I get it because during the pandemic it was Wizards of the Coast that cost a lot of game shops money. Like Wizards of the Coast said, our products will not be played in your stores during lockdown. If they are, you will be cut off from your ability to order from us, right? But they made a butt ton of money during that period because a lot of their online gaming required you to own the card, right? Like having, I don't know. This looks too steep to be maintained.
That was too steep, yeah. That's crazy.
It's a big jump.
But that's because Magic the Gathering, Hasbro, its gaming division, the Wizards of the Coast gaming division of Hasbro, I think made more than half of Hasbro's money. Right? I think the major majority of the money that Hasbro made came from its smallest division, which was its gaming division. Not the toys. That's their big thing. They're toys. They're toy makers. That's what they do.
Yep.
But their money didn't. The majority of their money came from Yahtzee.
Yeah,
from gaming, D&D and Magic the Gathering.
There was even talk of there were shareholders that were actually requesting that the company split up, that Wizards of the Coast become a separate entity from Hasbro, because it was more profitable. And so the shareholders like, I want split them and put my stocks with the more profitable company. So, but most of also Yahtzee, a lot of that income is also Dungeons and Dragons. 5th edition is extreme cash cow for them, and the digital D&D marketplace and the My D20 and all that stuff is hugely popular for them. So,
other news?
What news you got over there? Yeah.
I got some more news here, and then we'll see if y'all have any news as well. We'll keep scouring the news until people call in, which is what we're supposed to be doing there. Call in show.
813-618-7099. Call us.
It's not quite your 10 o'clock yet, so Nick we still got about 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's got to finish up his axe throwing. Yeah.
I got my email from Osprey Games. It's been a while since we talked about this, Rob. It was, probably over 9 months since I've gotten Undaunted reinforcements. And I talked about my issues with the card backs because we talked about card quality and maintaining that consistency, which it weirds me out to hear you talk about Magic the Gathering having issues with card quality. Because with Magic the Gathering, I've always felt that you can take a card from 2022 and put it against a card from 10 years ago, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference on the backside. Like their color control, their color quality control, the matching of colors is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Osprey didn't have that. Osprey sent out their reinforcements pack, which was the upgrade to Undaunted North Africa and Undaunted Normandy, but the backs of all the cards were just a shade off. Like just enough of a shade off that if you were drawing, you can tell, that comes from the reinforcement set or that comes from the Normandy set.
No good. No bueno.
Right. And they just really bugged me. And a lot of people were talking about, well, just get card sleeves. Just sleeve everything. And I'm like, I am a sleever, but I am not a color back sleever. There's two different types of sleever.
All the way,
let's be clear on that.
You like clear sleeves.
Yes, because they work on the art. These folks put all this effort and energy into the back of the cards and the art on the cards. Why am I going to be able to take away from that by covering it up with just a solid black color?
Yep.
Beans and Dice Podcast. State your name and where you're calling from.
Hi, this is Mihir from Orlando, Florida.
Mihir, how are you, sir?
Oh, Mihir, my man. Actually, I'm sure your ears are burning today because I was talking about you while driving today. We were talking about Mosaic and planning our game.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, Mihir looked like he was having so much fun. I can't wait to play. Your ears must have been burning.
Oh, yeah. Mosaic is awesome. In fact, I was at BGG Con this past week, and that was the last game I played before leaving the con. And it was a 6-player game of Mosaic, so it was awesome.
Well, talk to us about what you've been up to.
Just the normal stuff. I thought I just caught you guys at the right time. I was just browsing and saw you guys were live, and I'm like, okay, there's no one on, no caller online. Usually, whenever I catch you guys, there's always someone on the call. No caller online, so I'm like, I have some time, so let's just give them a quick chat, a quick call, and chat about some stuff.
All you got to do is just like message me. We will call you.
Oh yeah. And something you want to talk about? Just
on
let us
Beans
know.
and Dice. Beans and Dice call you.
Nah. I was last week at BGG Con, and that was always awesome. Conventions are always awesome where you get to just play games and meet and interact with so many other people. And it's always fun. It has been a trend since the last 3 BGG Cons that every convention I find like one new to me game that I like so much that I instantly want to go and buy.
And that game was Viticulture World.
Something like that.
If I don't already have like 1 million copies of it.
That'd be the one. Yeah.
No, so this convention I really enjoyed Wayfarers of the South Tigris. That was like the smash hit game, the new to me game for me. And I just loved that game. It was so awesome. And this is especially coming from the fact that I do not enjoy, I enjoyed the other guys. Team did not resonate with me.
On the Wayfarers series?
No, the previous series, the Architect series.
The Architect series,
yeah.
Yeah, the Architect series, the theme did not resonate with me, but I really enjoyed playing those games, like especially Paladins. But in the new series, that is the Wayfarer series, not only the game, like, super good, but the theme is also amazing. So everything, the whole package just comes together so beautifully. I'm really excited for Garfield Games because I think they have a winner with this game in particular.
What are the games in this series, Rob? I feel like I've played one of them.
No, this is the first one. Wayfarers is the first one.
Oh, I'm thinking Raiders. I'm thinking
Raiders of Scythia. Yeah.
That might be the ones I'm thinking of, the Raiders series.
Wayfarers is the new one, and then they'll come up next year with the second in the series, again a Kickstarter, I believe. As far as I know, it is called Scholars. This is what I know. That's maybe the working title or the final title. I do not know that. But exciting stuff from what I hear about the next in the line. People are raving about it. So
I see Shem Phillips on the box. Rob was showing some of the pictures. I saw Shem Phillips on the box. The artwork is very familiar.
Yeah. Yep.
Chris J. McDonald.
And
Phillips, yep.
What makes this game stand out for you as compared to the Architect series?
So just the combos that you can make. There's so many multiple paths you can go. I mean, the combos. So there are like, so first things, when I like a game, there are a few metrics, like how easy it is to teach and how intuitive the teach feels. I'll tell you why these two are important for me. Because if this game is supposed to to sit on my shelf for like a year, and if I pull this game out after a year, I should be able to teach the rules. And that can only happen if the game rules are intuitive, if the theme helps too, If the theme and mechanisms are gelled together so well that everything becomes intuitive, you don't really have to remember the rules. They just come to you naturally. That's why I love many of the Vital games, like Kanban, Gallerist, and stuff like that, because the theme and the mechanisms gel together so well that you do not have to remember the rules. Even the Gallerist I've not played since 2 years, but I'm like 99% positive that if I have to, pull that game out, I can teach that game like it was yesterday. So
yeah, while you're setting up, it'll all come back to you because of the mechanisms and the theme gels so well. I talked a little bit about the art. It is Mahalo Dimitri Visky.
Keep trying.
At this point, what I'm going to call the official
Mijo.
Yeah. Oh, like Mijo in Spanish, like my son Mijo. This is like the official artist of Garfield games, pretty much, like the only artist that they have.
Yeah. Very, very stylized. I mean, you know his stuff when you see it, and I like it. I mean, some people don't, but I really like his art.
I agree.
So one thing that's really awesome in this game, I don't know, it's awesome for me. So the theme is like you are like wanderers and you're trying to like explore the land around you, like the sea and the land, and then you're documenting your journey. And you have these land cards and the sea cards where you're building a tableau around. So in this picture, you'll see land cards on the left and the right. You'll see sea cards at the bottom. And of course, on the top right, you'll see like sky cards, or like you are like trying to learn about the sky, about planets and stuff like that. And then you're on the top left, there are companion cards which get tucked under your land and sea cards, which give you powerful abilities, which add to your abilities when you take those actions mentioned on the land and sea cards. So like lots of cool combos. And once you put everything together on your tableau, it comes together so beautifully as a visual image. It's just awesome. Yeah. So, and this, the whole between the center board is a journaling track where you have to, so that's the end game trigger. You know, once any one person reaches on the last space on the journaling track, that ends the game, you know. So, and that's the end game trigger. Everyone else gets one final turn. But you may be stuck big time if you do not choose your path wisely. If you do not,
are you going left to right in this game?
Left to right.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a flow chart. Going down the paths will dictate what you need to keep moving down the paths.
Yeah. So whatever you see on those paint blobs is the requirements to move past that. So you have to really look forward, like what are the requirements, you know, for me to move forward, and am I achieving those requirements? Am I working towards those requirements to move forward? Otherwise, you might be stuck. And being stuck is not an issue because you might be stuck. It's just that you're not getting the benefits of moving ahead, but you can score points in other ways. Everything is just awesome. And then your upgrade tiles and how the dice placement works and how the workers work. The workers is in closed economy of workers where you spend a worker on a card and then it stays there. And then whoever gets that card takes the worker along with it. So it's like, hey, do I want to place the worker on this card, take this action, but then risk that card, you know, being taken away along with the worker, you know, by someone else. I mean, there are lots of cool stuff happening in this game and it all fits together so well. And it's a very, I have fun building the combos and then executing the combos. Everything becomes very satisfying to me.
Talking about this journaling and moving along tracks and combos, I mean, you're giving me an Arnak feel for sure. I mean, Arnak's got all of that.
A little bit with the research track, but I've been feeling more tapestry in here.
Maybe.
Mihir, what are your thoughts? What taste as you whiff the notes of this game? What flavors are you getting?
Definitely a bit Arnak on the research track, but a bit more thematic, a bit more. Definitely, the research track and the journaling track are more similar to Arnak because you can choose the path, but there are more diverging paths out here.
Looks like it.
And it feels more thematic out here. And about the tapestry, the tiles, they go onto your personal board, upgrade board. But it's not that much of a tapestry kind of a stuff. It's just that you put those to upgrade your personal dice placement board and stuff like that.
You said a bad word there. Dice? I saw a die in one of the pictures.
Yes, it's dice worker placement.
Okay.
He's the beans when it comes to gaming.
All right. Yeah.
He likes counting beans with no
dice
involved. No randomness.
No randomness. Give me my predetermined. But if you're just using them to work or place, I think I can handle that.
This is the Automa board. But most of the scoring comes from these, this is the player board. So at the end, your player board will look or go back, you know, the other picture. Yes, this one. So at the end, your board will look something like this. Your tableau will look something like this, where you've made your own land discoveries, and on the left and the right,
that's beautiful.
That is pretty cool.
Little panorama.
It just hit me. Like it just hit me.
Yeah, it's a panorama that tells the story of what you did. Yeah.
And the sky, too.
And also the sky.
Yeah.
If you look at the sky cards, the night cards, they give you, based on what night cards you select, they give you your own endgame scoring conditions. And then they have these inspiration cards which get tucked over these sky cards, which double your scoring conditions. So yeah, these are the scoring conditions on the top.
I see the 2 times
there's
there
the
for being
cards,
tucked underneath.
Yeah, it's like if you meet those requirements, it doubles the scoring condition of those cards.
Cool.
See, I was starting to feel like what a
happening.
waste of space, right? Because most of these cards are just art. But then you showed us the player board
Got a little
and said,
tableau. You got a little story going on.
and now it almost feels like I'm going to say, what's that epic game where you're creating, throwing rune stones to create a character?
I was thinking that too. What's that? Adventures.
Call to Adventure.
Call to Adventure.
So it's like feels like Call to Adventure, where at the end of the game you can kind of sit back, lean back, and look at what you've created in a person. Here you can look at what you've created as a civilization in its beautiful mosaic.
Yes, and you see these cards at the bottom. Say for example, certain land cards have something else tucked underneath it.
Yeah, I saw those.
So those are the companion cards. So thematically, that companion you've selected is like surveying that land and stuff like that. So yeah. So once you place a dice on the card, when you take the main action of the card, if there's a companion card at the bottom, you get that benefit also. So it's like you're chaining stuff.
Space
which
base.
feels,
Kind of like Space Base, where you get to trigger one of the bases, the base locations, and you get all the cards that are tucked up underneath it.
Yes.
That's a good feeling.
The caveat out here is you can only tuck one card under each of these land or sea cards, but it's fun. It's awesome, and there are various other things going on. So, but this is good. And other than that, the next game, there's one more game that I really liked at BGG Con was Revive. Revive was in the hot games room at BGG Con, and it was always full. The table of Revive was never empty. And this is such a fun game.
Rob, you sounded a little bit excited there.
Yeah, so I couldn't place it at first with the name, and then it came up. I was like, oh yeah, I know this one. I know this one. Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah.
So whomever I played this with, or whomever I spoke or chatted about this game, all were raving about this game. It's just super satisfying. It is a super satisfying puzzle. There's tons of depth, tons of strategy, tons of cool combos to unlock in this game. The way the action works is super great. So on the previous image, if you can go back to the previous image, I can walk you through what's happening.
I got the main board up here. Okay.
That's the main board.
No.
Now, I remember
That's
this
the
game.
main board.
We talked about this game when I was on the panel with Ant Lab. It's coming to me now.
Yeah,
if I'm right, Mihir, this is just an individual's player board.
Yeah, this is the individual player board. So how it works is you tuck cards on these slots and you get the resource shown on the top. However, if the color of the card matches an upgrade chip that you've placed there, then you get an additional benefit. So say, for example, the top green card, when it was tucked, it get one book. But since it matches the green color, you will get one more book. So you don't start with these upgrade chips, but you can, like, during the game, you can, like, add these upgrade chips. So you can make one slot, like, say, for example, the left slot, you can have that left slot with all upgrade chips, and then just have that as a supercharged slot and just tuck cards and get, like, multiple benefits on your turn. So the game is, it looks too much, but the game is super simple. I could teach this game in like 15 minutes. It's super, actions are like just 2 or 3 main actions, and
see, but Mihir, you have yet to come to Studio B. We're waiting for you to make a trip to Tampa.
Over here to Tampa.
But you will find that it was a very, very difficult negotiation session with Mrs. Cabrera in order to get this space to play in. with the size of those individual player boards, I'd have to start negotiating for the other room of the house
table
to also get more space. How did you find the space requirement for this game to be?
So on BGG, in the hot games room, they have these game toppers set up from this Game Toppers LLC company.
Berkey, I got to play with him. I got to play Baseball Highlights 2045 with him.
Yeah, so Berkey sets up all his products, like the entire hot games room is set up with like game toppers. I think it's a Watson, which is like a 38 inches by 16 inches. So you can easily fit a 4-player game in that size. And I think, 3 feet by 5, the modern day board gaming size, that's the ideal size. In that size, you can fit like how much ever you want. But on the left of the player board, there's an asymmetric kind of stuff going on where you unlock meeples and unlock full powers. The only slight negative, if I had a thing to say about this game, was that the game end trigger is based on certain end scoring tiles that you acquire during the game from the main game board. However, it feels like BGG Con and white tiles at the top of the game board.
Right.
They have different colors. So half of them, like when all of them go away, that triggers game end. Like everyone else gets one turn. However, in all our 3 games, half of them went in 2 hours, and then the other half went in like 15 minutes. So it gives you an illusion at halfway. It gives you an illusion that you still have some time to achieve whatever you've set to achieve, but then it just gets over so quickly, and you are like always surprised and taken aback, and it leaves you a very unsatisfying feeling towards the end because you couldn't achieve what you set out to do in the game.
Okay, that's good to know.
I mean, so that's after 3 plays. It might be a super early impression, but I need to play more to see how it works out. But right now, this initial thought was shared by like so many of us who played this game.
I've found in games in the past that I've played that give me that feeling. The more you play the game and you learn the expectation and the signs to look for that kind of tell you that the game is ramping up and it's going to end soon, it kind of takes away that feeling to some extent. But I do agree with you that there are certain games that can put a bad taste in your mouth right off the bat because of that. You feel like you're just getting things going.
Scythe.
Yeah, Scythe is one of them. Yeah, like I'm just getting things going. If I had a few more turns, I can do a thing, and then somebody pushes the end of the game, and all of a sudden it's over, and you feel like you didn't complete what you wanted to really do. Yeah, Dune. No.
Dune Imperium.
Dune's great. Don't talk about Dune that way. Besmirch the name. But yeah, I see. I definitely can see what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah. Other than that, I've tried Lacrimosa. Lacrimosa was a very anticipated game for me.
Oh yeah.
But whomever, I guess I've spoken to a lot of people about Lacrimosa who got a chance to play that game at BGG Con. It was so much hype, so much anticipation, but it kind of felt a decent game, like a good, okay to decent game. I wouldn't call it good, but okay to decent game. It did not live up to the hype for me.
That's
it felt too restrictive. Yeah, so many people are talking about this game and the theme, Mozart, and you're trying to. So Mozart's last work, the musician, was incomplete, and we're trying to complete it and stuff like that.
Right, man, that's disappointing because this is a game that I really want to like. I grew up playing in the orchestra. I played violin for 12 years, and this was one that finally was going to hit me with that theme. And I was like, oh, there's a big production, a big game that's coming out. Everybody's talking about it. It's going to be Mozart and classical music, and so I'm.
It's got the tucking into the board like Aquatica.
Yep. Yeah,
kind of a feel.
A little bit. Yeah, tucking some cards there. So I really want to like this one. So I'm disappointed to hear that you didn't love it.
So the theme does not come out that much.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, nobody I spoke to thought that the theme came out. So there is theme. I would say that there is like theme will come out like 50%, but 50% is like, no, it feels abstractish. But 50% is there. Now, since you are attached to the theme, you might enjoy the theme more, or you might feel and you might appreciate the theme more.
That's a good point.
So the theme for you, more than for someone who does not have a
I've never read a sheet of music
background.
in my life.
Yeah,
right? I've
so
never.
wouldn't hit
The
for
only
you.
instrument I played were the 2 turntables and a microphone while DJing. That's it. So to me, I guess the theme would not stand out for me. Talk about the con though. Okay, so listen, I get it. You've been on for a little while, and I'm cool with that. We can be on here for another hour talking to you for all I care. So if you got to go, just hang up on us. But outside of that, Mihir,
No.
talk about the location, where you stayed, the con itself. Talk to us about how you felt about the convention and how it was.
BGG Con one.
What city is it in?
Awesome.
Houston?
Huh?
It's somewhere in
Dallas.
Texas.
It's in Dallas.
Dallas, Texas.
It's in Dallas, and it's at the Hyatt in Dallas, and the Regency Tower. But the nice hotel. I know I stayed. I always make it a point to stay at the hotel because, like, you go to sleep at like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, or whatever, and then you get up at like 7 o'clock, 7:30. Back to gaming. You just need a place which is right next to the convention hall, so you can go, crash, get up, get fresh, and get back to business, right? So,
right.
So BGG Con has like a huge space on the top level, and in the bottom level, the half of the space was like for exhibitors, and the other half was again open gaming. They have a huge library, and and they have a separate hot games room and multiple like events rooms and stuff like that. So gaming is spread around across 3 levels, and lots of cool people to meet and interact with. You get to meet. I always meet Eric Lang. So Eric Lang at BGG,
nice.
And it somehow happens that me and Eric Lang, we always meet at the last day, maybe at the airport or maybe at the last day of the con. So we both are like the last day buddies, So this time also he saw me and like, hey, I always meet you at the last day, and I'm like, yeah, you remember. So
it's a thing now.
So a very funny incident happened. There was a picture posted by someone on the Board Game Geek Facebook group or something like that, whereby Eric Lang is sitting on a table, okay, and the table behind him was playing Ankh with a teacher's wanted sign.
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
That was so awesome. Like, people do not. Eric Lang is on a table behind him, and of course, Eric Lang does not know because there is the table behind him, and it's like a teacher wanted to sign for Ankh. But to be fair with I then realized that he did catch it, and he did go and teach them that game.
Oh, did
That's
he?
funny.
I mean, I don't know. Eric Lang must be a gentleman, because I'd be like, I've taught it so many times. Let me just not make eye contact. Just don't make eye contact.
Just walk on by.
I'm just one of 4 brown people here. Like, no one will recognize me.
So, this is what you're scrolling past is like before that.
Is that the library?
BGG Con hands out. No, BGG Con hands out like free games. Like some publisher will always like sponsor some games and stuff like that. So when you take your badge, it hands out the game. And then there's a whole big open library, and you can do whatever, play whatever, take whatever. They have like a checkout limit, like a time limit of 4 hours. Nobody comes to catch you, but usually,
Mihir is tested it.
Not hunting you down. We saw Tom Vassell hunt some people down at Dice Tower a few times.
And then, I forgot. So the con is great, and they have a nice cafe, right?
Food
next to the hot
matters.
games room, and
I know Rob doesn't agree with me, but food matters.
Give me a granola bar, and I'm good. Yeah.
No, I got to eat something.
Yeah.
Now, what about con experiences, right? Some of the stuff I loved about Dice Towers of the past, not the current Dice Towers, but Dice Towers of the past had a lot of panels, conversations. You can listen to designers talk about design processes. I think the best time we've had, Rob, was CMON 2019.
Yeah, I was just CMON for sure.
CMON had, Eric Lang talking about his games and his design process, right? Listening to those conversations from people we adore. What does BGG Con do for us attendees in learning about this industry? What could we find if we went?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, not much.
Your voice got low.
Oh, okay. We were just looking for other panels, conferences, conversations, events, talks that you could attend as an attendee to learn more about the industry. Did you see anything like that?
There were a few, but I couldn't attend. I know these guys. What is the name? I keep forgetting that.
It'll come to you after the show.
Yeah. Harla and Mitch. What's the channel? Is the channel?
This is making for great radio.
No. The channel is Blackboard Gaming or something like that. No, sorry. Our Family Plays.
Our Family Plays Game. Yes. Mick and Starla.
Yeah,
Mick and Starla.
Yeah. Starla. Yeah. So they had a session.
Boom.
Yeah, they had a session. Which I wanted to attend, but I couldn't because the game that I was in lasted longer and stuff like that. But you know what? One of my pet peeves is like during conventions. I had this happen twice now with me. Like after 90% of the game, someone is like, "Hey, I got to leave." I'm like, if you have a hard time limit, like after 2.5, 3 hours, and the game is not finished, why not mention it up front so that the whole table is aware that there might be a situation where you'll have to leave and the game might not be finished. So when this comes as a surprise, nobody in the group likes it, and nobody on the table likes it. But of course, everybody's nice to each other, but nobody will be like, hey, nobody shows the frustration.
Man.
But then
you suck. You should stay. Nobody yells that.
After the person leaves, they are like. So from going forward, I'm going to make a note to myself that whenever I get into a game with total strangers, I need to ask them, hey, do you have a hard stop, or do you have a time limit?
It changes your strategy.
You need to adhere to.
Completely changes your strategy, because you're going to want to set up for that 45-minute hard stop points wise, instead of being like, okay, my next turn was supposed to be my big turn. I feel you.
Yeah.
That's a great point too. When we talk about events at a con, I know that here's my pin right here. Your Turn Con 2022. We had so many events booked back to back that we did end a lot of our events early because we wanted it to be in that tournament at 2:00.
Yep.
We got to be in that tournament at 2:00. So let's make sure we end, even if the game's not over, we're hard stopping. I want to do it all.
Yeah.
Well, Mihir,
Anyways,
we really appreciate you calling in, man. It's been great talking to you.
Yeah.
This is probably why he doesn't call in often, because when he does, we keep him on for 40 minutes.
Yeah, he's
like, it's okay, honey. I'm going to make a quick call. It'll be fast.
Yeah.
And then Carlos and Rob keep him on for 45 minutes.
That's all right. Well,
I generally enjoy chatting with you guys and talking to you guys. So, yeah, it was all fun. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you calling. Don't be a stranger.
Number one, you're a good person.
Yep.
That's why we love having you on. You're just good people to hang out with. Number two, you're published.
You know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. So we can recognize that game recognized game. So when we hear you talk about games you liked, we know that we should look into that because we understand that you're in the game. You can recognize good games, so we appreciate you calling in.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Thank you,
in
guys.
July.
It is
July
fun
Dice
chatting with you
Tower.
guys.
Have a good night, Mihir. Appreciate you.
See you. Good night, man.
Mihir Shah, very cool.
Look at that.
Always nice when he calls in. So yeah, we kept him on a little while, but yep.
BJ was out there.
Oh,
we should have asked.
yeah.
I forgot that BJ was out at BGG Con. That man travels.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the start of the string here from where BJ started. No.
Phone lines open 813-618-7099. Be sure to give us a call. Phone line is open. We're taking the last few phone calls of the evening.
Yeah, get in before we wrap up for the night. But yeah, very, very cool with Mihir calling in.
So yeah, BJ had a couple comments where he talked about BGG Con. He mentioned Grant Lyons, the comedian guy that he's doing a board game, hour of board game comedy, and so he's been like demoing that at various cons, and the dude's pretty funny to begin with. So I'd be interested to see what he does for an hour comedy special about board games. So.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I've enjoyed him when he's on Dice Tower and different things. So yeah, funny guy.
Yeah. So,
I'm just trying to catch up.
Con's the week after your turn con, basically, right? Or it was about a week and a half after, because it just ended.
It was right after we got done with your turn con. BJ was starting to post up pictures. He had games of like Scout going on and games of Caesar, I think, and Splendor Duel, which I'm glad to hear his thoughts on Splendor Duel because I'm like so close to having bought it.
Yeah.
But when he threw the words in his review of his quick post, not a review but a post, he said, "I'd rather play Jaipur." So I'm like, okay, when BJ is saying I'd rather play Jaipur, it tells me Splendor Duel maybe not where it's at, not where it's at.
Interesting. I just started playing Jaipur on BGA, and I'm addicted to it.
I just played it for the first time not too long ago. Rachel from the group introduced it to me while we were over at her house playing some fairly light games, and she pulled out. I was like, Jaipur, I've never played that one. That's kind of a classic, and so we pulled it out. We reset it and played it 2 or 3 times. That's a fun game. I
still have yet to play it.
Yeah,
I just know that if somebody says I'd rather play X, that tells you, okay, this game may not be it.
It's a great 2-player game. I think I would put Jaipur up there with was it Lost Cities or
what?
I'd put Lost Cities over it, I think, for sure. But it's up there. Yeah,
it's so like I tell you what, because I've been playing both on BGA with a buddy of mine, and there are some games of Lost Cities where I crush him, he crushes me. Every game of Jaipur, it's like 1 or 2 point difference between us. It's such a tight, close
valid.
game.
Valid.
I got blown out a couple times I played it, so yeah, okay. I don't have that problem with it being close.
I don't think Rob and I ever have close games of Lost Cities. It's either you really lost, or you really won.
Yep.
And every game we've played at Jaipur, it's been like you basically can play 2 or 3 rounds depending on if the person wins the first 2, then you're done. If you win one, if you split, you play a 3rd round. Like every game I played with Jaipur, it's like 65-64, 66-67. Like it's 1 point difference every time. It's so frustrating because my buddies beat me like 3 times in a row now, and I was like 1 point every time. But yeah, it's a fun game.
Well, we're talking 2-player games, and can't help but notice the videos you've posted on the Beans and Dice YouTube channel. Thank you for posting content for us, Wayne, of your unboxing of the Nesting Box, which comes with the Asia expansion. Have you had an opportunity to get 2-player Wingspan Asia to the table?
I have not yet. No, I'll record it when I do, but it'll probably be with Thanksgiving. It'll probably be after Thanksgiving before I get that to the table. So,
I'm still waiting for our advanced copy. I really want to get that to the table.
I like that comment. Yeah, you just read that.
Beans and Dice.
Beans and Dice greater than Splendor Duel.
But BJ said that. Jaipur greater than Lost Cities. So.
Yeah, that's why I put that up there. Yep, I saw that. Yep.
Oh, I love how Ron, recognizes the Segway game.
Oh yeah,
how to jump from topic to topic. Appreciate you. Salud, my man.
Rich brought up Targi. That's one I have not played, but I've got to play it. Everybody talks about Targi being one of the best 2-player games ever made, so I really need to try Targi sometime.
Other than Memoir, of course. I love how he throws that in there. I did get to teach a game of Memoir at your turn con. I keep telling my wife, I'm gonna teach you it. I'm gonna teach you Memoir. I'm gonna teach you Memoir. I got a buddy of mine at work, Mike Partain, huge Memoir guy. He's out every other weekend. He's out near Orlando playing with the designer How did I forget his name?
Borg?
Yeah, Richard Borg.
Yeah, Richard Borg.
Out there somewhere near Orlando. But him and his wife, Carly, I see them all the time posting pictures of them playing
Memoir?
Command and Colors games together.
yeah, okay.
Memoir and Napoleonics and all the
Borg's
others.
games, yeah.
And I just kind of have this idea like, okay, I can teach my wife and maybe she'll love it. Like it'll be her favorite game ever.
Don't think so, but maybe.
And then we can like have those date nights where we're drinking wine or we're playing some Memoir.
I wouldn't get your hopes up.
Yeah. I wouldn't get your
Rich is right. Memoir's awesome.
Oh, and Mr. Jeeves, Kyle brings up Hanamikoji, and I was actually, if we talked about recent gameplays, I have played a lot of Hanamikoji in the last.
That's that Japanese style game that you taught me, Robert.
Yep, that's a fun one.
Almost like Lost Cities, that back and forth idea.
To sway the geishas, win the favor of the geishas. Yeah, that was a fun one. I taught that to Dan.
Was that a quick, simple, fun game?
You might have been.
Because I think you taught me at the quick, simple, fun.
It's from Japanese.
Let's
Japan,
pull it up.
Over, so yeah, we can pull it up.
Let me pull it up here because we know the owner of Quick, Simple, Fun.
Yeah, we know a
local guy.
We know a guy. Yeah.
Hanamikoji is good.
Hanamikoji.
I totally spelled that wrong.
Hana.
Copy paste.
M. There you go.
I should have just trusted.
Who brought that over? It was a big hit in Japan, and they brought it over. Is it
a lot of different publishers on this one.
Yeah. We're checking the BGG quietly here in the background.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good one. Hanamikoji's that's one of my favorite. It's just basically a deck of cards and then a couple of little tokens.
Quick Simple Funds did it as well.
Okay, yep. Did.
So that was Patrick Havert out of Brandon.
Yep, I've got that.
Friend of the show.
I've got that version of it. Yep.
The Quick Simple Fun did Hanamikoji as well.
I'll bring that up on the screen here real quick.
I can't remember the game though. So if I'm thinking Lost Cities, I can tell you Lost Cities. I know how it plays. How does Hanamikoji play?
Again, you have 4 actions you have to do. There's 2 I cut. You choose actions. There's one where you just get to keep a card hidden until the end, and then you burn 2 cards, but you're going through the whole deck. So it's kind of almost perfect information. You and your opponent are drawing a card and then playing one of the 4 actions. You're required to play all 4 of the actions, so you know what you have to do as you go through. And then at the end of each round, after all the cards have been played, you're placing the cards in front of the different geishas for different powers, different point values. And then at the end, you kind of go down the line and you score them all. So you're kind of pushing this little favor token back and forth. And the winner at each round, after all the cards have been played, you go down the line. And if someone has won the influence of 4 of the geishas, there are 7 of them, I believe. Yes. If you've won 4 of the 7, then you win the game. Or if nobody won 4 of the 7, you total up the point values on all the cards that are influenced to your side. And if you have 11 points or more, you win the game. If you don't do either one of those things, if neither one of you has done either one of those things, you reset. You basically take all the cards, you shuffle them again, but the favor token stays wherever it was last time. It doesn't go back to neutral. And so at that point, the game changes if you go a second hand. And I played this where 50% of the time it goes 1 round and it's over. And I've played games that have gone 4, 5, 6 redeals where you're just kind of pushing this favor tokens back and forth. But the game changes a little bit because if you've won the favor of certain geishas, you're kind of just trying to tie those because a tie keeps them on your side, and you're just trying to defend the ones that you already have and then maybe sway 1 or 2 of your opponent's geishas so that you can get 4 and win at the end scoring. So it's really cool, simple mechanic, and it's just a deck of cards and a handful of little tokens, and so you can really just put the whole thing basically in your pocket and carry it around.
With your granola bars.
With my granola bars, yeah.
Hanamikoji, thanks to the chat for bringing it up.
Yeah, good one.
That's a good one.
Rich says, "Hey Carlos, have you played any of the unconditional? What does that say?
Unconditional
surrender games. Talking about Memoir 44.
No,
no, I don't know those.
I'm not familiar with that setup.
Must be an option on there.
Yeah, cool. So I haven't played Targi, so I played Jaipur, I've played Lost Cities, and I've played Hanamikoji. So I need to play Targi so we can.
Targi is like
them.
Anytime you see somebody do online a top 5 or a top 10 2-player games, Targi is almost always in there. And I know the Dice Tower folks have it rated as like the number 2 best 2-player game of all time.
I'm not even familiar with it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's heavier than Memoir 44. Gotcha. Yeah, that's another one. Targi is on BGA, so I should just throw a game out there and get that.
Yeah, I need to learn it. I've seen the setup, and I kind of generally know how it plays, but I need to learn the rules. And yeah, BGA would be a good place, Board Game Arena, to jump in and try to learn it. So yeah, cool.
All right, folks. Well, that got us past our 10 o'clock hour.
Yep.
Had a couple of really good calls, and want to thank you. Shout out to our man Ron Fraser every week.
Yep.
Giving us some great conversation topics. And then Mihir Shah out of Orlando, Florida. Be sure to check out Viticulture World, the cooperative expansion to Viticulture.
His baby, yep.
That he designed that one, so we want to give him a shout out on that. If you haven't played it yet, find someone that has it. If you like it, buy it. I think it was a very strong addition to the Viticulture title.
We need to try to get that campaign going, even though it's like twisting your arm.
Campaign?
To get your campaign, yeah.
There's a campaign there?
Well, yeah, you just play through all of them. But yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you can do that. All the different continents. You got to.
We played the first one, and we got our butts whooped.
Nah, we almost won.
We almost won. It came down to like a turn. So
It
We
came
had
down
to
to
get that extra
played
king card.
we played the rule long. We played a rule
That's right.
wrong, or we would have won because
Yep.
once somebody finishes, you wipe out their stuff. That would have freed up that spot. So we just we basically won that one.
that last
Chuck it
round
through.
we would have won it. Yeah. So. But yeah, we got to do that, and I want to get some other campaigns going in real life here too. Like I say, I'm waiting for Frosthaven. I can't wait for that to come in. I've owned Charterstone for 5 or 6 years now, and have been wanting to play that. So I'm going to try to get a group together to play that. There's a couple other games that I want to jump to. I'll leave you out of it, Carlos, because I know you don't do the campaign thing. But yeah,
You're welcome to use the space, though.
Okay.
The space is here. If you want to get some campaign games on camera, this table will be set up. The camera angles will be there.
Sounds
And you
good
know
to
what?
me. Yeah.
I got kids, and I got me.
Let's stream it.
I can produce.
Yeah.
I can enjoy and sit back and be the peanut gallery.
Okay. I'll take you up on that then.
But we hopefully this week, what's upcoming for y'all is we're attempting to get Mosaic to the table.
Yep.
Mihir has been such a huge proponent of Mosaic. Yeah. William got his deluxe copy in. At Your Turn Con, he was punching it. So we're talking about early next week, getting it to the table. We won't do a full playthrough of it because it's one of those long Civ games.
It's a 2-3 hour game, yeah.
But my thought is, let's at least get a round.
Give a flavor.
Right, somewhere in the middle of the game, let's record a round of play so that you folks at home can get an idea of what it feels like for it to be played.
You say record, you really mean just go live?
Just go live and let the StreamYard record it.
There you go, yeah.
And then for us to provide our review post-game,
Sure.
our after-action review on what we thought of Mosaic. I am a lover of Clash of Cultures.
To Clash of Cultures, yeah.
I want to tell you why Clash of Cultures is better.
Nope.
Although I haven't played it yet. So that's the plan for next week. Of course, we're going to have the Thursday night call-in show next week as well. So be sure to tune into that.
That's going to be on Thanksgiving Day.
On Thanksgiving?
Oh, wow, that's right. Thanksgiving
Yeah,
already?
Got to rethink of that. Yeah, it's next Thursday.
So you know what? Gentlemen, we'll have to record something Wednesday night for Thursday posting.
Put something up. Yeah,
we'll have to put something up for y'all. Some kind of podcast or something that way you have something to listen to or watch while you're preparing your turkey.
Get your beans and dice while you're eating your turkey.
Oh, and beans and rice.
Beans and rice?
That's what we'll be
with
eating.
Your turkey. Yeah.
And my family, at least.
Yeah, all right.
And then, Wayne, what do you got going on? I know wife and boy are working on some content online. What do you got to share for the folks?
Yeah, I think this Sunday we're gonna do some like all the panda theme game or panda light games. So we're gonna play Takenoko and Trash Pandas, and we'll play King of Tokyo. We're trying to play like some light games that people might want to buy for the holidays.
Cool.
So
I think there's a panda, kung fu type panda in King of Tokyo somewhere.
Right, yeah, there's Panda Kai is one of the guys in King of Tokyo. So we'll play King of Tokyo and then Takenoko, and then Trash Pandas was really a game about raccoons, obviously, but they're called.
It's a Panda Express.
But it's kind of a fun little dice push your luck card game. So we'll be playing those on Twitch on Sunday, I think. And then
cool.
After Thanksgiving, I plan to get Wingspan 2-player to the table and get that recorded for the Beans and Dice channel. So.
Where can they find some of the Twitch streaming going on at the Kruger household?
My wife is streaming under Panda Opinions. She did a lot of food critic and blogging stuff, so she kind of kept that logo and has moved over into Monday night. She streams video games, and then on Sunday brunch, we'll play board games. Physical
That's pretty
games.
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's been fun.
That's pretty cool.
And,
All right, Rob, what do you got going on for the folks at home? Anything you want to update them on?
Nothing really. I'm gonna try to keep moving towards getting some kind of setup at my place so that I can play some games at home and maybe stream some stuff. So that's on my wish list. So I'm inching in that direction. But yeah.
No tracking number for Frosthaven. I'm seeing people
Not
posting.
yet.
They got theirs.
I've seen 1 or 2 pictures, so I haven't seen a mass yet. But the updates have said that not to hold your breath, that it'll be there before the end of the year. They said it's going to go to January and February for deliveries. So I'm hoping, but we'll see.
Just know that without Rob knowing, Wayne and I are going to unbox that thing, including all of the special boxes, all the tuck boxes.
Yeah.
We're going to do a full spoilerific unboxing.
Go to
There was,
and then we'll put it all back together so Rob doesn't know.
Yeah.
One of the guys from Man vs. Meeple was actually, he posted like a quick video, I think on either Twitter or something, where he was actually at the warehouse where they have the all the Frosthaven, and it was just massive pallets of that game, man. It's like a giant warehouse. But yeah, it looks intense, man. I've seen a couple of the videos.
We're just saying Robo Rally. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit at the top, but yet we got to get some top secret games in of the old Robo Rally, and we'll talk very vaguely about our experience, but with those NDAs, we got to be careful. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, with the BGA gaming, I think I'll end it off with this. Playing Crusaders with the expansions on BGA has been okay.
Yeah, agreed.
You know what? I am okay if we just end this game. I need to get that expansion to the tabletop.
I am learning some rules, though, because you had some questions about what buildings you could build where. And now that we're 3/4 of the way through the game, I'm trying to go back and build buildings. Like, oh, no, I can't build that there. So I'm starting to figure out why I can
build
or why I can't. And
an original building in a location with an upgrade building.
You can build any of those the new board
new
buildings if
New
there's
buildings.
nothing there. But once you've built a main building somewhere, you can only build, it seems, the corresponding upgrade building on the same spot. So I'm just now finding that out.
Can't
We're 3/4 of the way through our first game.
The upgraded expansion building to an empty space.
You can.
You can't build anything there.
Right.
But then I can't go back. So like there's a tower, right? Tower corresponds with castle. If I build castle, I can build tower on castle.
Only tower after you build the
But if I
castle.
build only tower, can I put castle on tower?
I don't know. I haven't tried to do it in reverse yet.
I don't know if
Those
you may be able to.
Yeah.
The things that I was hoping to figure out by playing it on BGA just hasn't happened.
You just got to try it, though.
I almost feel like
the
the base game on BGA is probably best. Like or at least we need to play the.
We need to play it on table.
First. We need to play it on table first, because then we'll figure it out from there. Yeah, I'm down for that. Let's go.
Well, next week, the kids are all home, and
I'm off for a couple days. Yep.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of Crusaders with wifey. She's liking it. She's liking it. And I think she really likes that rondelle mechanism. We talked about it during the podcast or one of the conversations.
Yeah.
About the idea that it limits your choices based on how many action points.
Yep.
And that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get this expansion.
In this game, I'm trying to not upgrade all the wedges and try to do some of the move
And I
build
did upgrade them all.
move and build and move and crusade.
I've been upgrading just in hopes that one of y'all will trigger the end game while I'm upgrading.
Oh, nice.
I didn't realize it until I started doing it, but I always build all the banks. And so I built the banks, but the corresponding building for the banks, whatever those next ones are on the new board, all of those, every time you do one, you get to upgrade a wedge. So just by doing those, I've upgraded all my wedges. So, yeah.
Nice.
Wasn't intentional, but it happened.
Oh, man, I got to get this to the table. The size of the screen just does not allow enough room to see all the connections
I have to play it
between
on
the player board,
computer.
the map, and the new board to be able to connect all the dots. I need to be able to see it all in front of me.
I don't even try on my phone. Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it's losing its luster playing it on the BGA. But that's my final thought for the evening.
Cool.
So on that note, I'm going to continue enjoying this Aldi's Winking Owl wine. Thank you to my father-in-law, Jimmy, for bringing that to the house tonight. Appreciate you, Bobby. I'm Carlos.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Wayne.
We are the Beans and Dice Podcast. We're a podcast about
How we game.
That's right, how we game. Check us out Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, except for next week because it's Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everybody.
for watching the
Thanks,
Beans
everybody.
and Dice podcast.
That's Mrs.
Don't
Oben.
forget to like and subscribe.
That's Joyce.
No Wayne tonight. Or no Nick tonight.
No Nick at all. Good night, folks. See y'all next week.